Welcome to Mindful English Podcast.
Welcome back to Mindful English. I'm James.
And I'm Ruby.
Today we're talking about something that quietly frustrates millions of English learners around the world.
A belief that sounds reasonable at first, but often becomes one of the biggest obstacles to progress.
The belief that you need a huge amount of English before you can finally start speaking confidently.
That you need thousands and thousands of words.
That you need perfect grammar.
But you need to understand every movie, every podcast, every accent.
And only then will you be ready.
Ready to speak.
Ready to participate.
Ready to call yourself an English speaker.
But what if that belief is not true?
What if the English you actually need is much smaller than you think?
That idea might sound strange.
Especially if you've spent years feeling overwhelmed by everything you still don't know.
Because when people begin learning English, they often see an endless mountain.
Vocabulary lists.
Grammar books.
Idioms.
Phrasal verbs.
Academic words.
Business words.
Slang.
Regional expressions.
Pronunciation rules.
It feels infinite.
And when something feels infinite, it becomes difficult to feel successful.
Because no matter how much you learn, there is always more.
Always another word.
Another grammar rule.
Another expression.
Another thing you don't know yet.
So instead of feeling proud of progress, many learners feel constantly behind.
They focus on the gap.
Not the growth.
And that creates a dangerous cycle.
The more overwhelmed you feel, the less confident you become.
The less confident you become, the less you speak.
The less you speak, the slower your progress feels.
And eventually, you begin to believe that fluency is far away.
Much farther than it actually is.
I think many people imagine fluent speakers as people who know almost everything.
But that's not how communication works.
In fact, communication is surprisingly repetitive.
People use the same words again and again.
The same expressions.
The same sentence patterns.
The same questions.
The same reactions.
Think about your own native language.
Do you use every word you know every day?
Of course not.
Most of us rely on a relatively small set of familiar language.
Language that helps us explain ideas.
Ask questions.
Share feelings.
Tell stories.
Solve problems.
Connect with people.
Communication is not about showing everything you know.
It is about successfully sharing meaning.
And that changes everything.
Because if communication is the goal, then perfection becomes less important.
And usefulness becomes more important.
That's a very different way of looking at English.
Instead of asking, how much English do I know?
You begin asking, can I communicate what I want to say?
And often, the answer is yes.
Much earlier than learners expect.
A person might know only a few hundred words.
Yet still have meaningful conversations.
Maybe not perfect conversations.
But real conversations.
Conversations that build confidence.
Conversations that create learning opportunities.
Conversations that help language become alive.
Because language grows through use.
Not through waiting.
Not through perfection.
Not through endless preparation.
One of the most common mistakes learners make is believing they need to be ready before they start speaking.
But speaking is what helps you become ready.
That's the paradox.
We wait for confidence before speaking.
Yet confidence often comes from speaking.
We wait until our English feels complete.
Yet English never feels completely complete.
Even advanced learners continue learning.
Even native speakers continue learning.
So perhaps the goal should not be knowing everything.
Perhaps the goal should be using what you already know.
More often.
More naturally.
More courageously.
And perhaps that's where real progress begins.
Not when you know enough.
But when you stop waiting to know enough.
Before the break, we talked about a powerful idea.
The idea that the English you need may be much smaller than you think.
And if that idea is true, then an important question naturally follows.
How much English do we actually use in everyday life?
That's a fascinating question.
Because many learners imagine fluent speakers constantly using advanced vocabulary.
Long words.
Sophisticated expressions.
Complex grammar structures.
Language that sounds impressive.
But when researchers study real conversations, they often discover something surprising.
Everyday speech is incredibly repetitive.
People use the same words again and again.
Day after day.
Week after week.
Year after year.
Think about a typical day.
You wake up.
You greet people.
You ask questions.
You answer questions.
You explain what you're doing.
You share opinions.
You make plans.
You solve small problems.
You express emotions.
Most of these situations require surprisingly familiar language.
Imagine someone asks how your day is going.
You don't need an advanced vocabulary textbook.
You probably say something simple.
It's going well.
I'm a little tired.
I've been busy.
Nothing special.
Simple language.
Real communication.
Now imagine you're meeting a friend for coffee.
What kinds of questions appear?
How have you been?
What have you been doing lately?
How's work?
How's your family?
What are your plans this weekend?
Again, we see familiar patterns.
The same structures returning over and over.
The same vocabulary appearing in different situations.
That's one reason why communication becomes easier with practice.
Because language is not an endless collection of completely new information.
Much of it is repetition.
Meaningful repetition.
Useful repetition.
The kind that slowly becomes automatic.
Yet many learners ignore this reality.
Instead, they focus on rare words,
Difficult expressions.
uncommon vocabulary,
They spend hours memorizing words they may not use for months.
or even years.
Meanwhile, they haven't fully mastered the language they need every day.
That's like trying to decorate the roof of a house before building the foundation.
Exactly.
The foundation matters most.
Let's talk about that foundation.
What does it actually include?
Common verbs.
Common nouns,
Basic adjectives.
everyday phrases,
Words that describe time.
feelings,
Relationships.
activities,
Decisions.
experiences,
In other words, language connected to real life.
language connected to human experience.
Because ultimately, that's why we learn English.
Not to pass vocabulary exams forever,
Not to impress people with difficult words.
but to communicate,
To understand.
to connect,
To participate in conversations.
to share our thoughts with the world.
I remember meeting a traveler years ago.
What happened?
His English was far from perfect.
Really?
Very far from perfect.
Yet he traveled across several countries successfully,
He booked hotels,
ordered food,
asked for directions,
made friends,
solved problems.
had conversations.
And he did all of that without knowing thousands of advanced words.
That's an important lesson.
Because his goal wasn't perfection.
His goal was communication.
And communication happened.
Sometimes learners underestimate how much can be accomplished with simple English.
Very true.
A simple sentence spoken confidently often creates more connection than a complicated sentence never spoken at all.
That's worth repeating.
A simple sentence spoken confidently often creates more connection than a complicated sentence never spoken at all.
Many people are carrying knowledge they don't fully trust,
They know more English than they think
but they don't use it.
because they believe it isn't enough.
They compare themselves to advanced speakers,
Native speakers,
teachers,
content creators,
people who have been speaking for years.
and naturally that comparison feels discouraging.
But perhaps the better comparison is with your past self.
The version of you from 6 months ago,
1 year ago.
2 years ago.
Can you understand more now?
Can you express more now?
Can you follow conversations more easily?
Can you think in English more often?
If the answer is yes, then progress is already happening.
Even if perfection is still far away.
And maybe perfection should not be the destination.
Maybe growth should be the destination.
Maybe connection should be the destination.
Maybe confidence should be the destination.
Because confidence doesn't come from knowing every word.
Confidence comes from trusting yourself with the words you already know,
That's a beautiful distinction.
and perhaps one that can change the entire learning experience.
Instead of constantly asking, what am I missing?
We can begin asking, what can I already do?
Instead of focusing on limitations.
We focus on possibilities.
Instead of waiting for some imaginary future version of ourselves.
We start using English today,
Imperfectly.
naturally,
Consistently.
consistently.
Because every real conversation teaches something.
Every attempt builds experience,
Every mistake provides information.
and every moment of communication proves something important.
That English is not reserved for experts.
It belongs to learners too.
especially learners who are willing to use what they know instead of waiting for what they don't know.
And in the next part, we'll explore one of the biggest obstacles to that mindset.
The belief that speaking imperfect English is somehow a failure.
Because that belief may be keeping more people silent than any grammar rule ever could.
And it's time to challenge it. Welcome back.
In the last part, we talked about something many learners forget.
The fact that communication does not require perfect English.
Yet, even when people understand that ideologically, they often struggle to accept it emotionally.
Because there is another belief hiding underneath.
A belief that quietly influences how we learn.
The belief that mistakes are dangerous.
That mistakes are embarrassing.
That mistakes mean failure.
And if you believe that, speaking English can feel stressful.
Every sentence becomes a test.
Every conversation becomes an exam.
Every small error feels like proof that you're not good enough.
But let's pause and think about that. How do children learn their first language?
Through mistakes.
Thousands of mistakes.
Tens of thousands of mistakes.
They mispronounce words.
They use incorrect grammar.
They confuse meanings.
They say things that make adults laugh.
Yet, nobody expects perfection from them.
In fact, mistakes are considered a natural part of learning.
They're expected.
They're welcomed.
They're evidence that learning is happening.
Somewhere along the way, many adult learners forget this.
Suddenly, mistakes become something to avoid,
Something to hide.
something to fear.
And that fear creates a strange situation,
People spend years studying English.
yet avoid using English,
They collect knowledge.
but not experience,
They learn rules.
but not confidence,
They prepare endlessly.
yet rarely practice real communication
It's like reading hundreds of books about swimming.
without ever entering the water.
Eventually, knowledge alone reaches its limit.
Experience becomes necessary.
I think many learners imagine fluent speakers rarely make mistakes.
But that's simply not true.
Native speakers make mistakes every day.
They forget words.
They misspeak.
They correct themselves.
They start sentences and change direction halfway through.
Communication is naturally imperfect.
Real conversations are messy.
They're spontaneous.
They're unpredictable.
People interrupt each other.
People lose their train of thought.
People search for the right words.
That's normal.
That's human.
Yet English learners often expect themselves to sound perfect.
Even when native speakers don't.
That's an impossible standard.
And impossible standards usually create frustration.
Let's imagine two learners.
Learner A waits until every sentence feels perfect.
Learner B speaks even when unsure.
Learner A avoids mistakes.
Learner B accepts mistakes.
Learner A protects confidence.
Learner B builds confidence.
At first, learner A may seem more comfortable,
Less embarrassed.
less exposed.
But over time, something interesting happens.
Learner B gains experience.
Learner B learns from real situations.
Learner B becomes comfortable with uncertainty.
And eventually, learner B often progresses faster,
Not because they know more.
but because they use more.
That's an important distinction.
Fluency is not only about knowledge,
It's also about access.
access to words,
Access to ideas.
access to language under pressure,
And access improves through use.
not through endless preparation.
Think about driving a car.
Reading about driving helps.
Watching videos helps.
Understanding the rules helps.
But eventually, you must drive.
Because experience creates a different kind of learning.
The same is true for English.
Speaking develops speaking.
Listening develops listening.
Communication develops communication.
Which brings us back to our main idea.
The English you need is smaller than you think.
And perhaps the perfection you think you need is larger than necessary.
That's beautifully said.
Thank you.
Imagine how different learning would feel if mistakes were no longer enemies.
If mistakes became teachers instead.
Suddenly, every conversation becomes valuable.
Even awkward conversations.
Even difficult conversations.
Even conversations filled with pauses and corrections.
Because every attempt contains information.
Every attempt reveals what you already know.
And what you still need to practice.
That's growth.
Not perfection.
Growth.
One small improvement at a time.
One conversation at a time.
One brave moment at a time.
And perhaps bravery is the word we're really looking for.
Not fluency?
Not yet.
Interesting.
Because fluency often arrives gradually.
But bravery comes first.
Bravery to speak.
Bravery to try.
Bravery to sound imperfect.
Bravery to keep going.
Many learners already know enough English to begin having more conversations.
But they are waiting for permission.
Waiting for certainty.
Waiting for perfection.
Perhaps they don't need any of those things.
Perhaps they only need courage.
A little courage repeated consistently can transform a learning journey.
And when we return, we'll explore something practical.
How to identify the small core of English that creates the biggest impact.
The words, phrases, and habits that deserve most of your attention.
Because once you focus on what matters most, English begins to feel much lighter
Much simpler.
and much more achievable.
Welcome back.
So far, we've explored two important ideas.
First, that the English you need is probably much smaller than you think.
And second, that perfection is not a requirement for communication.
Now let's make this practical.
Because many listeners might be wondering something.
If I don't need all of English, then what should I focus on?
That's exactly the right question.
Not, how can I learn everything?
But how can I learn what matters most?
Imagine you're preparing for a long journey,
You can't carry everything you own.
so you choose carefully.
You pack the things you'll use most often,
The essentials.
the items that create the biggest impact.
English works in a similar way.
There is a core set of language that appears again and again in everyday life.
Language that helps you understand and participate in most conversations.
We can call it your English core.
I like that phrase,
Me too.
because it reminds us that not all vocabulary has equal value.
Some words are incredibly useful.
Others are rarely used,
Yet many learners spend the same amount of energy on both.
which isn't always the most effective approach.
Let's think about the conversations most people have.
They talk about themselves,
Their families,
their work,
their studies,
their hobbies,
their plans,
their experiences,
their feelings,
their opinions.
their daily lives.
Notice something interesting?
Most conversations return to similar topics,
Again and again.
which means certain vocabulary becomes extremely valuable.
For example, words related to time,
Yesterday,
today,
tomorrow,
recently,
usually,
sometimes,
often.
frequently.
These words appear everywhere.
Then there are words connected to emotions.
Happy,
Excited,
nervous,
worried,
relaxed,
confused,
proud.
grateful,
Human beings constantly talk about how they feel.
which makes emotional vocabulary surprisingly powerful.
Then we have common verbs.
Go,
Come,
think,
feel,
need,
want,
try,
learn,
work.
help.
These words carry an enormous amount of communication.
You can build thousands of sentences with a relatively small number of verbs.
That's one reason simple English can be so effective.
A strong foundation creates flexibility.
Instead of chasing endless vocabulary lists, focus on mastering useful language deeply.
That's a key distinction.
Knowing a word is different from owning a word.
Explain what you mean,
Many learners recognize a word when they see it.
but struggle to use it naturally.
Exactly.
So recognition isn't enough.
Real mastery means the word appears automatically when needed,
Without stress,
without searching.
without translating,
That's why repetition matters.
not boring repetition.
Meaningful repetition.
Seeing language in real situations,
Hearing it repeatedly.
using it repeatedly.
Connecting it to personal experiences.
The goal is not collecting vocabulary,
The goal is building familiarity,
building comfort.
building automaticity.
Another powerful part of your English core is questions.
That's true.
Questions create conversations.
How are you?
What do you think?
How was your day?
What happened?
What are your plans?
Why do you feel that way?
A person who can ask good questions can keep a conversation moving.
Even with limited vocabulary.
That's a skill many learners underestimate.
Because communication is not only about speaking
It's also about inviting others to speak.
and listening carefully.
Let's talk about another important category.
Useful phrases.
Ah, yes.
The building blocks of natural conversation.
Phrases like, I think,
In my opinion,
it depends,
that's a good question.
I'm not sure.
To be honest,
That reminds me of something.
I've never thought about that before.
Native speakers use phrases like these constantly
And learners who master them often sound more natural immediately.
because conversation is built from patterns.
Not isolated words.
That's an important insight.
Sometimes learning 10 useful phrases creates more confidence than learning 100 random words.
Because phrases are ready to use.
They're practical,
They're memorable.
and they appear in real conversations every day.
Which brings us to a simple question.
If your study time is limited, where should most of your energy go?
Toward the language you are most likely to use,
The language that supports your goals,
the language that helps you communicate.
not the language that simply looks impressive on a vocabulary list.
Because communication is the destination.
Not memorization.
And when learners begin focusing on their English core, something wonderful often happens.
English feels smaller,
More organized,
more manageable.
less overwhelming.
Progress becomes easier to notice.
Confidence begins to grow.
And perhaps for the first time, fluency starts feeling possible.
Not because they've learned everything.
But because they're finally focusing on what matters most.
And in our final part, we'll discuss how to build a daily life around this idea.
Small habits,
Simple routines.
practical actions.
The kind that slowly transform English from a subject into a natural part of everyday life. Welcome back to the final part of today's conversation.
We've talked about why the English you need is smaller than you think.
We've discussed the danger of chasing perfection.
And we've explored the idea of building your English core.
Now comes the most important question of all.
How do we turn these ideas into real life?
Because understanding something is one thing.
Living it is another.
Exactly.
Many learners consume large amounts of English content every week.
Videos,
Podcasts,
courses,
books,
lessons.
lessons.
Yet despite all of that effort, English can still feel distant.
Like something that exists outside their daily lives,
Something they visit occasionally.
instead of something they live with.
And perhaps that's where the real shift happens.
Not when English becomes bigger.
But when it becomes closer. I love that idea.
Me too.
Because language grows through contact,
Through familiarity.
through repeated exposure.
Small moments repeated consistently.
Many learners believe they need long study sessions.
2 hours.
3 hours.
Maybe more.
But real progress often comes from something simpler,
Daily contact.
even if that contact is brief.
Imagine spending 5 minutes each morning thinking in English.
Not translating.
Just observing your thoughts.
Today I feel tired.
I slept well.
I have a busy day ahead.
I need to finish some work.
Simple thoughts.
Real thoughts.
Thoughts connected to your life.
That's already English practice.
Now imagine listening to 10 minutes of English while walking,
Or preparing breakfast.
or commuting to work.
That's another small moment.
Then maybe writing 3 simple sentences before bed
About your day.
about something you learned.
About something you noticed.
None of these habits are dramatic,
None of them look impressive.
but together they create something powerful.
Consistency.
And consistency is often more important than intensity.
That's true in fitness.
It's true in music.
It's true in language learning.
People often underestimate what small daily actions can achieve over time.
Because results are usually invisible at first.
Day 1 feels ordinary.
Day 10 feels ordinary.
Even day 30 might feel ordinary.
But after 6 months,
After a year,
the difference becomes remarkable.
another important habit is reducing unnecessary pressure.
That's something many learners need to hear.
English does not need to be a constant test,
It can be a companion,
a tool,
a way of exploring ideas,
a way of connecting with people.
a way of understanding different perspectives.
Sometimes learners become so focused on improvement that they forget enjoyment.
And enjoyment matters.
Because what we enjoy, we tend to continue.
And what we continue, we tend to improve.
That's a simple but powerful cycle.
Enjoyment creates consistency.
Consistency creates growth,
Confidence creates more comfort.
and confidence makes the journey more enjoyable.
The cycle reinforces itself.
Let's imagine 2 learners again.
One treats English like a never-ending exam.
The other treats English like part of life.
Which learner is more likely to continue for years?
Probably the second one.
Because sustainability matters.
Learning English is not usually a 1-month project.
Or even a one-year project.
For many people, it's a lifelong relationship.
And healthy relationships require patience.
They require acceptance.
They require realistic expectations.
Which brings us back to today's main idea.
The English you need is smaller than you think.
You do not need all of English.
You do not need perfection.
You do not need to move faster than everyone else.
You simply need to keep moving.
One conversation,
One lesson,
one podcast.
one sentence at a time.
Trust the process.
Trust your effort.
Trust your growth.
Because even when progress feels invisible,
It is often happening beneath the surface.
like roots growing before a tree appears.
Exactly.
And one day you'll look back and realize that the language that once felt impossible,
Has quietly become part of your life.
and that's a wonderful thing.
It truly is.